Our next speaker here is Lars-Henrik Ståhl. He's a professor of theoretical and applied aesthetics at Lund University. And Lars-Henrik, you have been teaching master courses and first and second and third year courses, and you have PhD students. And Lars-Henrik has worked very much with art-based research, you call it. For example, two projects you have been working with is the first is called Los Angeles Islands, and the current project is Placebo, and that's, I think you're going to say more about this today. So welcome, Lars-Henrik.
Welcome to the Country and Golf Club of Zagreb, Croatia. The small road next to the signboard leads to a recently established golf club. The area where the course is situated is next to the river Sava and was from the beginning meant to be an area for housing. Of course, this caused a debate in Zagreb, and a lot of people were disappointed about that the housing area was exchanged to the golf club. But when it comes to decision-making and programs, etc., and failure, this is a very interesting area. If you turn your head around, you will find the Zagreb University Hospital, or to be more exact, what was planned or intended to be the Zagreb University Hospital. The building process went on for several years, but the hospital was never ready. The civil war in the Balkans came between. Even if the initiatives for a new hospital in Zagreb goes back to the 1950s, the acknowledgement of the need of a hospital in this area dates back to the beginning of the 70s. The decision on the construction of the building in 1982 was reached after a referendum involving the citizens in Zagreb. By this process, the legal act of the building was given and the citizens' willingness of contribution. There was 69% of the inhabitants that voted yes to finance the building. And they were financing it by 1.5% of the self-imposed tax of their net incomes. The same year, the construction started, and after 6 years, 25% of the planned building was completed. In 1987, a second referendum was organized, and the citizens once again supported the building of the hospital. The location of the new hospital was very important. This illustration was published in the essay Applications of Decision Aiding Software by Stuart S. Nagel, professor at the University of Illinois. As we can see, the new hospital has an opposite location compared to the other hospitals. They are marked with an H, you see, near the mountains. There's a lot of small hospitals, and they still are. As we can see, the location was also a consequence of several extensive investigations. There are investigations about, for instance, suitable placement near the Novo Zagreb, the new Zagreb, the new area with for housing. On the other side, from the old town to between the Sada River goes between, as you see here on the illustration. The hospital was designed to host 1,000 beds. It should not just serve the Zagreb region. 40% of the patients were supposed to come from other parts of Yugoslavia. When the civil war broke out, the construction work was stopped. The need for financial support for the war machine was considered stronger than the need for health-bringing machine. This situation was highly ironic due to some of the initial arguments for the hospital in case of war, that it should be a very war-proof hospital in many senses. So maybe there was something going on already in the planning process, some knowledge about what was coming. The building, its particular trajectory, location and appearance involve many readings and give many aspects of interpretation, politically, poetically and metaphorically. Personally, I have been here 3 times over the last years, and right now I'm making a film about the Zagreb University Hospital together with an artist Magnus Bertås, who also is professor at the Konstfack here in Stockholm. The ruins of the hospital is an unbelievable tragedy. Since a hospital is a prototypical model for the human action to give care, beside the sadness of the ruins of the Zagreb Hospital, the hospital are also interesting in terms of aesthetics. Since it's a huge building, it's enormous, but today most people in Croatia would like to forget about it, since it's a tragic failure. And how to forget and hide a huge building? It costs too much to tear it down. There are no finances to, or if it's even possible to complete it as a hospital, even if the construction, as you saw in the images, make it maybe possible to transfer into a hospital. The aesthetics of healthcare could easily be found. Everything from illustrations of the hero from the Krim War and the nurse pioneer Florence Nightingale to the special hero in the manga genre, the surgeon. The hospital is a rather vague aesthetical character. But note here, I don't mean that hospitals in general are separated from aesthetical values. It's rather the opposite. But the aesthetic of hospitals has evaporated in many directions. And here I would like to connect to what Sven-Olof Wallenstein said before the break. He was talking about the smooth character of institutions today. According to Foucault, the hospital was a typical example of a heterotopia, a part of the society, but with special rules and also a mirror of the society. What is a hospital then? How does it work? What does it look like? If we see other types of buildings, we can find characteristic prototypes. For instance, this is from the modern society, flattened out the characters of building. We discussed just before this lecture about how the factory or church in the modern era could look the same. But in the common sense attitude to the type of building, the cliches are still alive. And this is from a kit for model railroads you can find on the internet, that this is what a church looked like, and this is a firehouse, a police station, and even a supermarket. Of course, there have been projects that try to grasp what a hospital looks like. This is a model made of Lego. It's a model of the Scripps Memorial Hospital in San Diego. To be even more radical about types of houses and what the look of them, we can consider Peter Halley's paintings from the mid-80s, where he combines a caricature and a diagram of building. The title of this is Prison and Cell with Smokestack and Conduit from 1985. Another version is with cells with a ventilation and heating system. But turning back to Zagreb, the look of things seems to be important today. If you go into the newly erected golf club, you are faced to a prohibition to wear jeans, for instance. You must have a special dress code to fit into the golf club and its environment. What does it mean to have this? This is just a question to Buddha. What does it mean to have this dress code in a golf club? Or can we consider the golf club, does it have similarities as a heterotopia connected to the hospital, for instance? And the golf club is today active, the hospital is gone forever, almost. Would it be possible to perform an arts-based research project about hospitals and their environments, including the image cultures around hospitals? In 2008, I initiated the research project Placebo. Placebo, you are familiar with this type of medical strategy where you hide some real medicine with fake medicine and get out some results from that. But placebo also means, from the Latin, I will please you. And the research group, consisting of architects, physicians, artists, and designers, we took care of this expression, how to please someone, what is pleasant in an hospital. And this maybe a little bit weird and funny commercial is from a magazine called Modern Hospitals in the 1960s, where the old people are so happy to get coffee, as we all are when it's a break, etc. But our project discuss, for instance, green areas, artistic decorations, architectural improvements in the hospitals, but also things like cafeterias, shops, pizzerias, etc. Things that are connected to actions outside the society, not connected to the typical hospital environment. And what we see here is a little folder, a contribution to a conference in London this summer called Comics and Medicine. So in this folder I constructed some situation by making some comic strips all about this theme for this folder was about art in hospitals and how it works, the decision process, etc. So this artistic decoration is from the Huddinge Hospital, and this is the two figures that meet each other is just a fantasy about how it might have been when they discussed this. And there is a process about which type of art would you like to buy to the hospital. Sometimes a democratic process, sometimes not. Another one could be about what type of art is suitable in a specific clinic. For instance, if this is an eye clinic, is it all right to have a painting with a clown with a mask over the eyes, or the eyes are covered of the harlequin on the image? And it could be, of course, promising for many people who are blind that this could, or going to be blind, that this could be, there is a life beside the sight. You couldn't live without having the sight, other possibilities in life, to smell a flower. But of course it can also scare many people, and this can cause a debate. What type of art fits in the hospital? And in the Placebo project we would like to have a critical distance to different types of artistic decorations in hospitals. And it can also be the joy of art, work of art. And this is also from Huddinge. The last one was from this one from Landskrona Hospital, and this is again from Huddinge, where to imagine a work of art. And this is technically this is made the backwards because the P.O. Ultvedt artwork is there today, but I made a test to just erase it in Photoshop, and that again the people from modern hospitals became actors in the comic strip. We have also been working with student groups. This is with the third year in industrial designer groups in Lund, and this is a proposal from Patrik Gustafsson and Fredrik Höjman. And there was a test clinic in SUS hospital in Malmö, where they improved the environment by just going there and see what do they think is wrong, what could we do better. And we also think that it's very important to have feedback to personnel and to cooperate with hospitals. So after this project, we also had a sort of hearing with the nurses and doctors at the department and discussed the proposals. We also have another project that is going on right now, so I cannot show any images, but it's that we hand out cameras to patients that they document the typical hospital environment, and by combining images and write something about it, we will more catch the actual patient's ideas rather than the architects or artists' ideas when we get into the environment. And there is also other projects where we follow the decision process of a work of art. What happened after a hospital decided to buy a work of art, and sometimes you can find it that they have thrown it away, or you can find it in some other places in the hospital, and just to see the history of the work of art in its decoration mode and later on. I think I will stop there by just saying that I have found in the artistic research that to work with films and comic strips is a very interesting way to consider how architecture is used in the society today in an operative manner. So instead of working direct with architecture or with theories, I think this is a sort of third way to do this, to elaborate on what you can say established artistic forms like comic strips and films. Thank you.
Thank you, Lars-Henrik. Do we have any direct questions? Otherwise, I think we go on, and then we can go back to the both of the presentations afterwards. I have one short question. The name Placebo. Why did you choose that?
As I said before, it's Latin. I will please you. And this is how to make people satisfied inside the hospital, to please people. So the placebo has nothing to do with. It's more it's a name that people associate to this test process, but it has nothing to do with that so far.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could say something more about your critical position, or the project's critical position, so to say, in relation to perhaps thinking about who, if there is a kind of a distance, as you say, to a distance way of looking at these environments, a critical way of looking at how art is placed, why it's placed, the kind of discussions that are there. Who would you say is? Do you have like an imagined audience? Like who needs this kind of critical take on hospital planning? It's not the question. It's not that I'm questioning the need of it, but it's just to hear you say a bit more about that in relation, like the critical position in relation to. What do we understand?
Yeah, I think that it differs a lot between different types of hospitals, of course, and different parts of the world. You can see hospitals in the third world that is more just a place to give care and nothing else. But the more we can say that the society gets into taking care, there are also other things about it to please people and to calm people down, etc. If you can do this with very small resources, of course, and you don't have to buy art for millions of crowns, but that's one of the things. How to would it be more effective to change routines or small details or in the handling of people? But in the center is, of course, a very human view that to make life easier for people in the hospital, of course. This is the central.
But your project is about.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, I think it raises a question that I could connect to what we spoke about yesterday about productivity and relevance for society and all these kind of things. That, I mean, do we need art as something that should work? I mean, the whole idea of what kind of function, is it working or is it not working, and so on. So, but we can go back to that later, I guess. Then I think we go on. So I would like to introduce. Yeah, thank you, Lars-Henrik.